Namaste. I am Dr. Bindu Menon, neurologist from Apollo Speciality Hospitals, Nellore. Today we are going to talk about how one should respond if someone has a neurological emergency like stroke or epilepsy. There is ample evidence now which tells us that neurological disorders are becoming a big public health threat. In fact, most of the times it is seen in the emergencies that when the patient is brought to the emergency delayed in time after his symptoms have come, and when we ask them that what is the reason for this delay, there are many reasons which are told for the delay, but then out of them the three most important reasons which are told is: one, they have not been able to recognize that they were the symptoms of stroke. They thought that this could be because of fluctuations of hypertension, that is blood pressure, or fluctuations of sugar. Secondly, they did not realize that this was a medical emergency, that is stroke is a medical emergency and the patient needs to be brought to the emergency services like in another emergency, let us say for a heart attack. The relatives did not recognize that. And thirdly, the patients and the relatives were not geared, means it happened so suddenly that they were not realizing that what one should do at that proper period of time. So this happens because of these three reasons, and let us see how one can go about it. So let us take the first symptom, inability to recognize the symptoms. Stroke is a medical emergency. Stroke happens suddenly. Stroke is known as a brain attack. A popular mnemonic can be memorized and kept in mind, that is FAST, that is F is for face. If a person suddenly while talking has a deviation of one angle of the mouth, that is his face moves on to one side, either to the left or right when he is talking. Arm, that is weakness of one side of the body, that is his hand just drifts down while he is trying to catch something. When he holds something, something falls out of his hands. That is weakness of one side of the body. And the S, that is in the mnemonic FAST, S is for speech, that is the patient completely becomes mute, does not talk at all, or his speech is not clear, or in a circumstance when the patient talks which is unrelated, like you're talking to him that what do you want, how are you, and he speaks something else, that is what is the weather, what is happening there, so he talks in a disconnected way. And T in the fast mnemonic is time is brain. Time is very important. But before we reach the time, there are certain other symptoms which are also suggestive of stroke, that is, one is numbness of one side of the body, including the face, hand, trunk and the leg. Sudden onset numbness of one side of the body. Difficulty in vision, that is the space is looking blurred, or one side of the space is not, a person is not able to see properly, or objects or images appear too double. Unsteadiness of gait, unable to walk properly. Severe giddiness, or severe first time in his lifetime having such sort of giddiness. Confusional state in the patient, or drowsiness and difficulty in swallowing. Let me just enumerate the symptoms once again. Facial deviation, deviation of the mouth or the face to one side. Weakness of one side of the body. Difficulty in talking, becoming mute or speaking in a jargon way. Confusion. Difficulty in vision, that is half of the vision is not seen, or one side of the eye is not, a person is not able to see properly. Seeing double objects and images. Difficulty in swallowing. Severe headache, unsteady gait, confusional state. If any of these symptoms are there, these could be symptoms of stroke, and the patient needs to be rushed immediately to the emergency. Now let us imagine these symptoms happen for a patient and the patient recovers in 5 to 10 minutes. Then what one should do? This still could be symptoms of a stroke, and they are known as transient ischemic attacks. And for that matter, if the patient's symptoms have been very high, or the patient has hypertension, diabetes, that is multiple comorbidities, the patient to have a risk of a stroke in a 30 or a 90-day interval period will become more. So this patient should also be immediately rushed to the hospital. The range of the patient having a TIA to developing into a stroke can be from 3% to 17%. So once we have recognized that these are the symptoms of stroke, the second is whether it is a medical emergency, whether I should take the patient to the hospital immediately or I can wait. So most of the time what happens, the patient himself may say, I have got hypertension, I have got diabetes, and try to sort of motivate the patient relatives and see that I'll try to go away tomorrow and we can, and the relatives also decide that okay, we can take the patient tomorrow. No, stroke is a medical emergency. So let us see the magnitude of the disease. Stroke is a very common symptom. In fact, globally, 1 in 4 persons will develop stroke in their lifetime. Every 40 seconds in India, somebody is developing a stroke. And every 4 minutes, somebody dies of that stroke. In fact, in the last 1.5 decades, the stroke-related disability has almost increased by 17%. And if you would see the disability index of among all the diseases, stroke ranks 3rd after ischemic heart disease, that is the cardiological diseases and the COPD, and ranks 3rd in non-communicable diseases. Having said that, this is no longer the disease of the elderly. Even young strokes are very common. In fact, about 30% of people who are developing stroke are around 30 years. That is a stroke in young. Time is brain. Every minute that the patient is delayed to be brought to the hospital, 1.9 million neurons are being damaged. So any time you are thinking that I can take the patient late, I can make it still later, cells are getting damaged. And moreover, brain is one organ in the body which does not have the capacity to regenerate. That is, unlike the other organs which has a capacity to regenerate to a large extent, brain does not have a capacity to regenerate, so that we should see that the brain cells should not be damaged. So if any of these symptoms which I have enumerated, if the patient has any of these symptoms, the patient should be rushed to the hospital, because there is a treatment for a particular type of stroke that is known as the ischemic stroke, and there is a treatment called as a clot busting therapy, that is the thrombolytic therapy, which should be instituted within 4.5 hours. So within 4.5 hours means the patient has these symptoms, should be rushed to the emergency immediately, because it takes 1 hour for us to take the patient history, to find out what is there in the scan, to find out his blood reports and everything. So it is always better to rush to this, because within the 4.5 hour period, not all patients, some patients who are eligible candidates for the thrombolytic therapy. So do all patients recover after the thrombolytic therapy? Maybe not, but around 30% of patients may make a recovery immediately, and most of the patients who have been given the thrombolytic therapy within the 4.5 hour period, if we follow them to the patients who have not been given thrombolytic therapy, these patients fare well and do better over a period of time. That is, a recovery period process is better. So as I said, if one feels that the symptoms of facial deviation, weakness, numbness of one side of the body, speech difficulty, vision difficulty, walking difficulty, swallowing difficulty, confusional state, drowsiness, headache, giddiness, any of these symptoms are there and somebody is thinking that it could be because of hypertension and diabetes, it is very important to err on the side of caution and get the patient to the emergency. If one doesn't have a stroke, well and good, but then it is always better to see if the patient did not have a TIA, that is a transient ischemic attack. So that's one, we have found out the symptoms of the stroke, so we know now how to recognize if somebody has a stroke. Second, we know that it is a medical emergency, time is brain, time saved is brain saved, and you need to rush to the emergency as fast as possible to reach well within the window period of 4.5 hours, where one can give a clot busting therapy to some particular type of ischemic stroke patients who are eligible. Then the last one is not geared for the emergency. If something happens, so every time it doesn't happen at home. It may happen in a mall, it may happen in a cinema theatre, it may happen in a bazaar, it may happen while you're riding a bicycle or a car or any place. So one doesn't know how to react to that situation. So we always say for stroke, what one should do is that immediately call the ambulance, because stroke does not have a first aid. You need to rush to the hospital emergency services as fast as possible. If there is no ambulance facility nearby, and if you have a car, if you have a vehicle in which the patient can be transported, kindly put the patient in that, because you don't want to waste time. As I said, 4.5 hours period is the time which we are waiting for the stroke. So if you call the ambulance and the ambulance comes and then you take so you're wasting that time. And if you have somebody who can drive and who can take the patient to the hospital services, it's better. If you have the hospital number in the meantime, call up the emergency services, because you already know the symptoms of the stroke. Tell them that we are getting a patient to the hospital and he has got these symptoms. The emergency will be geared, because so that they can keep the imaging console and everything ready, so that the patient can be shifted to the imaging services very fast. Position the patient carefully. Keep the head in position so that he can able to breathe properly. Try to assess the sensorium of the patient. What I mean by that is, try to see if the patient is awake, alert or drowsy. Try to call out his name. If you say Mr. XYZ, he says yes, that means he is awake. If you call out Mr. XYZ, he doesn't respond, try to tap him. First you try to speak out very loudly. If he doesn't respond, try to tap him. A little gentle and a little more brisker. If he doesn't, then you know that he is not responding to a little more painful stimulus also. This sort of information will be helpful for us while you are transporting the patient. Do not waste time on assessing the patient. The first is to transport the patient to the hospital immediately. While you are transporting the patient, while he is in the car, while he is in the ambulance, this is what we ask you to do. Do not give anything to the patient by mouth. Be it water, be it anything. Do not give him a hypertension tablet. Do not give him a diabetic tablet at that point of time, because in stroke we want that the blood pressure to be at a certain level. You cannot assume that the patient has got it is because of hypertension, so just pop in a tablet at that time, or assume that the patient has got something and give him sugar, or unless you have the facility to check those at your house. As I said, most of the times when the patient comes to the emergency, the patient has a lot of comorbidities. The patient has hypertension, diabetes, patient is on blood thinners, patient is taking so many other medications. So the person or anybody is in a state of frenzy and can't take out all the papers and come to the hospital. We also say you should not waste time on all of those. So it is always mandatory, everybody carries a phone with him and never parts with the phone at any point of time. Even if it is an emergency, keeps the phone and comes out. Every time, keep your prescription slip, take a snapshot of the latest prescription slip, which will be helpful and handy, not only for stroke, for any diseases for that matter. When you come to the emergency, what is the prescription the patient is taking? So always it is there in your phone. The latest blood reports, if at all they are important, if not also, you just take a photograph of it and keep it on your phone. Next time when you go to the hospital and if the doctor has changed the prescription, that prescription should be there on your phone. So latest one prescription, it will be a great help for us. While you are doing all this, it is very important to time what time the patient developed the symptoms. It is very, very important for us. As I said, 4.5 hours is the window period for stroke treatment. So we need to know what time the patient has developed the symptoms. So most of the time, a lot of time is wasted in the emergency trying to gauge. Yes, the patient had at 10 o'clock, I'm not sure it is 11 o'clock. Just try to, when the patient came out with the first symptom, what was the time? So you position the patient, first you call the ambulance, you timed what time it was, position the patient carefully, you find out the level of the sensorium for the patient. Do not give him anything by mouth, Do not give him any of the hypertensive. Time of the symptoms has already been done by that, and it is always mandatory to take the patient to the hospital where stroke treatment is being done. I can understand that sometimes it is very difficult for us at that particular point of time to know which hospital does stroke treatment. But then it is also very advisable, while we are being aware of so many things around us which are non-medical in nature, it is also important to keep yourself abreast of the medical knowledge that's going on around in your town, which hospitals are geared up and taking care of cardiac symptoms, taking care of liver symptoms, taking care of stroke symptoms, and that must be enough. Why? Again, because hopping from one hospital to another, because you go to one hospital, there the thrombolytic therapy, the clot busting therapy is not done. You go in, you get into the emergency, they evaluate, they find it is a stroke, then they take the patient to another hospital. You are wasting time. So it is very important. Do not panic in any situation. Everything, if it is done in time and taken care in time, it can be reversed to a large extent. As I said, time is brain, and it is important for us to recognize and react properly at that particular symptom. To err on the side of caution, as I say all the time, is always important. If you come to the emergency services and you find that it is not a stroke, it's well and good. But if it is a stroke, it has to be treated in time. Now, yet another disease is epilepsy. Epilepsy is also a very common disease. It occurs in 1% of the population, that is in every 100, one person will have a disease of epilepsy. Most important of it is that most of the time epilepsy is considered a disease of stigma, and if the person has got a seizure at home or gets a fit, the patient is not brought to the emergency. The patient is brought after 1 or 2 days into the outpatient so that nobody knows about it. Most importantly for epilepsy, it is what one should not do when one person has a fit rather than what should do. So let us see the do's and don'ts of when a person gets a seizure. So let us assume that the person has a fit here and he falls down. So the most common thing that is done in the community is that people run and then give him some iron and put it in his hand. And in some places they immediately run with something and thrust it into the mouth, trying to stop the patient. So all of this is not done. Epilepsy is a disease of the brain where there are a lot of sparks coming from the brain, and because of that the patient falls down and starts convulsing, has jerky movements of the body, sometimes passes urine, sometimes passes stools as well. The fit continues for a minute or so, and then it stabilizes, and then the patient regains consciousness. If the patient does not regain consciousness for more than, let us say, 5 minutes or 5 minutes, if the patient does not regain consciousness, it is a medical emergency and the patient needs to be shifted to the emergency medical services for immediate injectable aids. If the person has a seizure here, so what one should do is that the person should not be moved. Everybody should not come and start looking at the patient, because the patient is deprived of proper oxygen at that time. He needs to breathe properly. So please do not crowd around the patient. If there is a table or a chair and he is hitting on the chair or table, kindly move the chair and the table. Do not move the patient. Do not try to restrain the patient, because the sparks are so high from the brain. Even if you try to restrain, it's not going to stop. Remove off his spectacles. If he has a tie or if he has a high neck collar, remove it so that he is at ease. Cushion something below his head so that he is continuously hitting and it doesn't hit on his head. If he is continuously hitting on the floor, then cushion something below his hands as well. Do not keep any iron rod, spoon or anything in the hand, because at that time the hands are completely clenched like this and it is very difficult for you to open. More so, scientifically it does not help you. The sparks from the brain cannot be stopped by an iron rod in the hand. It is not possible. Do not try to keep some handkerchief or something in the feeling that person may bite his tongue or swallow his tongue. We cannot do that. In fact, if you are trying to thrust something, some of his teeth may break, and that can be another problem later on. Till the patient is completely conscious, do not do anything after the patient is after the patient stops seizing, that is his fits stop. Turn the patient onto one side, that is the left side preferably, till the patient is completely conscious. Do not give him anything by mouth, because again, as I said, any drowsy patient, you give something by mouth, it goes into the lungs and that produces a pneumonia, for which the patient not only takes a treatment for the epilepsy but also has a long stay in the hospital because of pneumonia. After the patient has gained complete consciousness, then you can make him sit up and give the patient something to eat. Unless the patient is a known case of epilepsy and he has got some treatment in hand which has been given by the doctor, prescribed by the doctor, like some nasal sprays are there, some sprays, midazolam sprays are there. Unless it is prescribed by the doctor, please do not give anything. Go to the hospital if it takes more than 5 minutes. Again, in the same way as I spoke for stroke, when you go to the hospital, most of the time the name of the medication which the patient was taking is not known. Again, this comes in very handy for us. So it is very important that they take a snapshot. I, from Dr. Bindu Menon Foundation, have initiated an epilepsy app. That is a free app that is available in 3 languages, English, Hindi and Telugu, that can be downloaded by any person with epilepsy, and they can put in all their details in that as and when it happens. It includes your data, it includes your alarm, you can put in your appointment, and it is completely confidential. It remains with the patient only. It also has an epilepsy alert. In fact, in some patients, say around a few percentage of 10 to 20% of patients may have an aura symptoms. That is, before they have the epilepsy, they get some vague sensations, feelings, epigastric fullness, deja vu symptoms. At that point of time, they have an epilepsy alert in that app where they can feed in a number and they can put it on the home screen, and they can just click on it, and the alert as well as a phone call goes to that number, so that you feel a little safe. Taking your medications properly and having a proper compliance of medication in itself will ensure that you do not get a seizure. Go to the emergency ambulances, take the ambulance services when it is in need, and go to the emergency services because, as I said, for anything, time is brain. Recovery capacity of the brain is limited. In time, if before the brain cells are being damaged, if we act perfectly, then it can be salvaged and saved. I also welcome you to the doctor. We have a website at www.drbindumenon.com, in which there are a couple of tele-awareness series apart from stroke, epilepsy, like headache, migraines, Parkinson disease, carpal tunnel syndromes and various other disorders. 5-minute clip if one would want to have an awareness about that, one is always welcome. Remain healthy, stay safe, and take care of your brain. Thank you very much.